Good morning and welcome to another wonderful episode of Daybreak. I'm Brandon Krasowski.
And I'm Addison Deal. Class registration is already underway, but some students have been a bit confused about the process. We have the info you need coming up.
And there's a lot going on around here in Pittsburgh this week, from holiday festivities to movies being filmed. We have the scoop in today's show.
Let's not forget, our reporters are here to give you the news you need. Carlo Andrease is here to politismack this week's political news.
And reporter Samuel Parator is here with your sports update and this week's Sam's Sideline Slice.
Wake up and smell the coffee, Pittsburgh. Daybreak starts right now.
Welcome back. Here's your campus news, starting with your weekly weather update with Alexis Shawless.
Thanks, Addison and Brandon. Last week, we were blessed with some sunny skies for what might be the last time in quite a while. I hope that by now you've dug out your scarves and mittens because winter is approaching faster than you think. Early in the week, expect temperatures with lows in the mid-20s and low 30s and highs ranging from 48 degrees to 37 degrees. We are looking at mostly cloudy skies, but a peak of sunshine will be coming up next Saturday. This upcoming Sunday, we have a 90% chance of rain, so be sure your umbrellas are good to go. But aside from that, there doesn't appear to be much upcoming precipitation. If anything, I would be worried and cautious about the heavy winds that are likely to come with our drops in temperature. But hopefully most of those winds will subside by our upcoming Thanksgiving break. That's it for your weekly weather update. Now let's hand it back to you, our hosts.
Thanks, Alexis. You know, I don't know about you, but I think it's disgusting that we went from being in the 60s and beautiful to all of a sudden it's 30, it's freezing.
I know, yesterday was so nice and warm. The sun was out. I actually sat outside for a little bit. It was so nice. And then today it was rained, like the whole day.
This morning I woke up and I was like, man, it's going to be a great day. Like, it was nice and warm. I only had on a light jacket. Came out of my 8 a.m. class. It's terrible.
No, just rain everywhere. Cold, wind, not fun. I don't like it.
Not my kind of weather. I don't know about you, but I mean, I like the cold because I want snow. This year I want a 5-foot blizzard. If it happens, nobody get mad at me, but that's what I want. I want walls around the streets.
I gotcha. Now let's dive into the news that matters most, starting with this week's campus news.
Registration for classes next semester is open to all students. As a friendly reminder from Point Park Advisors, students are urged not to panic over the green pending approval message after registering for classes. Once you've submitted your registration, a seat will be saved for that class. It may take some time for the class to be approved, but there is no need to worry about losing your spot in the class. The spring semester is fast approaching, so make sure you complete your registration as soon as possible.
After a week of Thanksgiving break, there's one thing that'll motivate students to finish out the semester strong: cute animals. The Campus Activities Board is sponsoring a Campus Critters event on November 30th, just in time for some extra motivation for finals week. There will be dogs, cats, and more in Lawrence Paul Ballroom from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. Open to all students, but make sure you get there early so you can get all the cuddles you need to pass your finals.
The faculty at Point Park University have reached an agreement on a new 3-year contract after numerous negotiation meetings. According to KDKA, all 72 full-time faculty members voted in favor of the new contract on Wednesday, November 10th. The contract includes salary increases and paid parental leave for all union members. Holidays such as Juneteenth that were previously unrecognized by the university will now include paid time off. Before reaching a new deal, members of the union were without a contract since June 30th.
I'm taking a photography class next semester, and I'm very excited for it. I've never got to do like cameras or photography or anything like that before, so it's exciting to try it.
Yeah, photography is actually a really fun class. I'm in it right now. Chris Rollinson, really cool guy. I hope you do have him. He's, like I said, a really cool guy. My schedule next year, I don't have school on Mondays and Wednesdays anymore, which is going to be great. But I'm in classes from 8 a.m. to 5:40, I think.
Oh my gosh, that's a long day.
Yeah, it is, but I mean, at trade-off, I actually get Monday and Wednesday off, which would be great. But I mean, you know, you can only work with so much, and I'd rather have it all in one day than, you know, spread out.
That's fair. At least you finish it all up in 2 days, so you're good.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably going to be stressful, but we're going to make it through. We're all going to make it through.
Yeah.
After the break, we'll tell you more about the newest exhibit in the Andy Warhol Museum, which, by the way, Point Park students receive free admission to.
We'll also give you all the details about Light Up Night, Pittsburgh's biggest holiday celebration that's inching around the corner.
And don't forget, our reporters are ready to deliver your sports and political news.
Don't go anywhere, Daybreak. We'll be right back. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening and welcome back to News Night. Most of the student body of the Pittsburgh Public School.
Some of the United States allies.
Thursday, the FBI was seen raiding.
Let's get started with today's forecast.
Today's high will only reach about 31 degrees.
It's looking a little cooler than we've seen in the past few weeks.
All this and more
All this and more
All this and more coming up on Newsnight.
coming up on Newsnight.
coming up on News Night.
Welcome back to Daybreak. Are you ready to know about a feature film that's setting up shop right in Point Park's backyard?
All this and more coming right up. This is your Pittsburgh City News.
If your morning commute is a little interrupted, you might be pleased to know that Netflix is filming a movie here in downtown Pittsburgh. The movie is called Rustin, and it follows the story of Bayard Rustin, a gay civil rights activist partially responsible for the 1963 March on Washington. It is being produced by Bruce Cohen and Ground Productions, founded by Barack and Michelle Obama. The cast is yet to be announced, but the director is George C. Wolfe, an awards-winning director. Officials say Brosh Street between Forbes and 4th Avenue will be closed from 6 to 8:30 a.m., and Smithfield Street between 5th and Oliver will be closed from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Downtown Pittsburgh's Light Up Night is back this week on Saturday, November 20th. This year will be the 60th anniversary celebration after taking a hiatus last year because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Various events will be held downtown starting at 5 p.m. with the lighting of the Christmas tree at the courthouse, followed by other tree lightings and plenty of fireworks. The Market Square Holiday Market will also open for its 10th anniversary. Light Up Night was moved to Saturday rather than Friday to avoid rush hour traffic.
A new exhibit has opened up in the Andy Warhol Museum that features the work of Mary Soul, a prominent female artist during the pop art movement in the early 60s. Their work was very progressive for the time, featuring Warhol's queer influence and Mary Soul's as a woman of color. The exhibit features flat painted surfaces, plaster castings, and never-before-seen films. The exhibit was put together by curator Jessica Beck and will go to the Perez Art Museum in Miami after its exhibition here in Pittsburgh. You can see this exhibit from October 14th until February 14th.
Well, I don't know about you, but I sure am excited for Light Up Night to be back.
No, me too. I love ice skating around in PPG Place. I'm so excited to do it this year.
You know, I really think that the rink downtown is probably the best thing about it during it. I mean, I wish they had it year-round just because it's just so aesthetic. I mean, we keep it till maybe February or March, but it's just so nice to be around.
It is, and like just seeing them build it all is so cool. Like this massive tree that like wasn't here, and then all of a sudden it's there.
I was okay with it being up in October, honestly. I just
No, me
walked
too.
by one day and it was just there. I know our producer Sam wasn't okay with it, but I mean, you know, it is what it is. I got my colors on. I'm ready for Christmas now. I think this is a good time to say we're ready, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's Light Up Night.
Oh,
you
yeah.
can't be a Grinch right now.
Coming up after the break, we have this week's Ray of Sunshine.
But first, we're going to get to our weekly sports news with Sam Parator, Sideline Slice.
And we'll politismack this week's political news with Carlo Andreassi.
Stay tuned, Daybreak. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Daybreak, everybody. This is Sam's Sideline Slice with me, Samuel Parator. Point Park doesn't have too much going on with sports this upcoming weekend, but it is still a pretty important one. This weekend will kick off with a women's cross-country team competing in the NAIA National Championship in Vancouver, Washington on Friday at 11:30 a.m. On Saturday, both the men's and women's basketball teams will be traveling to Rio Grande, Ohio to take on the University of Rio Grande, men starting at 1 p.m. and women starting at 3 p.m. Good luck to all Pioneers. Moving on to regional sports now, things have not been too great in Pittsburgh recently. In football, the Pittsburgh Steelers played a very sloppy game in sloppy conditions against the then winless Detroit Lions. Several critical mistakes on both sides of the ball allowed this to become the first tie of the year, 16-16, in a week that the Pittsburgh Steelers could have used a win when both Cleveland and Baltimore picking up shocking losses in their games. Each week is very important with the way that this AFC North division is stacking up, and they will look to bounce back from that poor performance with a trip to Los Angeles versus the Chargers on Sunday Night Football this upcoming Sunday. Switching to the ice now, the Pittsburgh Penguins have also found themselves on a bit of a skid, dropping their third straight game 2-1 this past Tuesday the 16th against the Buffalo Sabres in the NHL's second joint Pride game. The Penguins look to get back in the win column on a bit of a Canadian road trip starting tonight the 18th in Montreal against the Canadiens, on Saturday the 20th in Toronto against the Maple Leafs, and then on Monday the 22nd in Winnipeg against the Jets. The Penguins are starting to get a little bit healthier, so this is going to be a good chance to get things rolling, try to get some chemistry going, and get some wins. That's all for me here with the Slice, hoping the black and gold can get back in the win column soon. Now let's hand it over to reporter Carlo Andreassi with this week's PolitiSmack.
Thanks, Sam. Welcome to PolitiSmack. I'm Carlo Andreassi. On Monday, November 15th, President Biden signed the $1 trillion infrastructure bill, the bill which will funnel money to states and local governments for what is the largest infrastructure plan for highways, bridges, transit systems, etc., since the New Deal under the FDR administration. While the bill received bipartisan support from the House and Senate, it did not receive unanimous support from the Republican Party, as many are arguing that the infrastructure bill is not worth the price tag. However, there is another similarly sized spending bill that is also likely to pass with bipartisan support. Already passed by the House in September, the $778 billion defense policy bill is soon going to be up for a vote in the Senate. The bill has several positions, including the requirement of women to register for a military draft, $28 billion in nuclear weapons, and an increase to the base military budget. The bill was increased by $25 billion in the Senate Armed Services Committee, and this would result in $37 billion more than Trump's previous base budget. Currently, in the Senate, there is a major dispute amongst Democrats, specifically Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Senator Bernie Sanders. Schumer wants to link what is called the Competitive Act to the defense bill, adding $250 billion funneling money to wealthy microchip companies and to Jeff Bezos for space exploration. Sanders released a statement opposing Schumer's provisions, saying, quote, "Combining these two pieces of legislation would push the price tag of the defense bill to over $1 trillion. Meanwhile, the Senate has spent month after month discussing the Build Back Better Act and whether we can afford to protect the children, the elderly, the sick, the poor, and the future of our planet. Ultimately, this bill is likely to pass the Senate as it has overwhelming support from Congress, so it will have to come down to the day when it reaches Biden's desk. Since it has been modified against his own wishes, it isn't perfectly clear whether he'll sign the bill into law in its current form. That's it for your PolitiSmack update. Now back to our hosts.
Thank you, Carlo.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with this week's Ray of Sunshine.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, and welcome back to Newsnight. Most of the student body of the Pittsburgh Public School.
Some of the United States allies.
Thursday, the FBI was seen raiding.
Let's get started with today's forecast.
Today's high will only reach about 31 degrees.
It's looking a little cooler than we've seen in the past few weeks.
All this and more
All this and more
coming up on Newsnight.
coming up on Newsnight.
Coming up on Newsnight.
Welcome back to Daybreak. Before we say goodbye, we'd like to share with you this week's Ray of Sunshine.
In case this is your first time joining us or you need a refresher, Ray of Sunshine is our way of starting your day with a smile and an inspirational quote.
Next week is Thanksgiving break, so in the spirit of the season, we have a quote that's all about the importance of generosity. This week's quote comes from former English Prime Minister Winston Churchill.
The quote reads, "We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give."
I really like that quote. It focuses on giving over than receiving, and my family always is like really big on giving. Every year on Thanksgiving, we go donate a Thanksgiving meal at a food bank, and it's something like a tradition we really enjoy.
That's really nice, honestly. And you know, one of my favorite things about this time of year that I really like is, you know, it's kind of getting ahead, but Christmas. I really love Christmas because it's like just giving to people. And I just love the fact that, you know, you give these things to these people and it gets a smile on people's face. And I mean, I always feel good when I get things and give. I mean, how couldn't you, you know?
Yeah.
And plus, you know, some of these things that I keep and these people keep is, you know, their memories. And all the things that you give and all these things, you know, it's a memory. And the food bank's a memory, giving to people on Christmas is a memory, and that's the big thing, is just giving to people. We gotta make the world a better place, make it spin better, you know?
Yeah.
But that's it for Daybreak. Thank you so much for watching.
You can catch clips from all our previous Daybreak episodes on our YouTube at UView Television.
And make sure you check out our full episode and all of our episodes from UView on our website, uview.pointpark.edu. Tune in next week or in 2 weeks for your news you need. I'm Brandon Kozlowski.
And I'm Addison Deal, hoping your news is good news. Have a great day, everyone.